Hey all you ghosts and goblins, today we are going to work on a spooky haunted house silhouette. Stay tuned to find out how. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to paint our background. I'm using these neon temper paint cakes and some water with my paintbrush. If you don't have these supplies at home, you could definitely just leave your background white, or you could use crayons or markers or colored pencils. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yellow, make sure it gets nice and wet, and I'm going to start by painting my moon up in the corner here, just like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my orange and I'm going to paint a circle around my moon to make it look like my moon is glowing. I'm choosing to do warm colors on my background, but you could do any colors you want. So I'm going to use yellow, oranges, red, and then I'm going to end with the pink. So make sure you make a nice big circle around your moon. After I clean off my brush, I'm going to dip into this bright red color and I'm going to make another circle around the orange. So I'm just going to continue filling up my entire paper. I'll dip into some pink here and fill up the rest of the page. And remember, you can use whatever materials you have at home, crayons, markers, colored pencils, or if you have paint, that's awesome too. If you want to just use it on white paper, you can do that as well, or it could be really cool if you had colored paper at home to put your haunted house on. Whatever you have, make it work. Alright, let's speed this up to get our paper all completed. For the next step, I'm going to use a black Sharpie to start by drawing my spooky hill that the house is on. You can also use a black crayon, a black colored pencil, or just a plain black marker. I noticed when I was doing this that the Sharpie was kind of picking up the paint a little bit, making the Sharpie dry out. So I probably would use a colored pencil or a crayon if you're doing this on a painted paper. Alright, I'm going to first draw my walls of my house with a little ledge off the sides. That's going to be the edges of the roof. And then you're going to bring the edges of your roof up and connect them straight across with a line. Now remember, you don't have to make yours exactly like this. The more you kind of take your own control of what you draw, the better it looks. Then I'm going to draw a door. I made my door a curved door, but you could make a rectangle door. Then I'm going to add some windows in here. I chose to just do a rectangle window, but you can make yours any shape you want. Remember, this is your haunted house. You have control over what you want it to look like. Then on top of the house, I'm going to start putting some little additions on top. So I'm basically drawing the same shape house on top, just a smaller version. And those are going to look like little towers coming off of the roof. So there's one there. I made a pointed one in the middle. And I'm going to draw one now off to the side. Remember, yours does not have to look exactly like this. It can be any way you'd like. Maybe I'll make a spooky little chimney coming off the side here, a little bit crooked. There we go. And I'm going to add in some windows up on these towers. These windows I decided to make rounded. And this one I'm going to make a nice big rectangle. Now I'm going to color in the inside of the house to make it look like a silhouette, and I would probably use a crayon for this part because I did notice when I was using my marker that, like I said, the paint was kind of getting onto the tip of the marker and making it dry out a little bit. So I do switch over to a crayon halfway through, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Now that I've finished coloring in my house to make it look like a silhouette, I'm going back in and adding details like ghosts in the windows, spider webs in the corner, there's a little black cat, another spooky spider web, some lines in the windows, and my absolute favorite part is this little spooky witch up in the very top window. Make sure when you draw things though, you do make them a nice dark silhouette. I'm adding in some trees here. Trees are super easy to draw. You just kind of start with a Y shape and then you kind of add branches on top of it. A spooky fence, a graveyard, a spooky owl up in the tree, and then I also drew in some bats flying around the haunted house, because what haunted house doesn't have bats? Don't forget also to color in your ground, and I also cut it off on the bottom because I was feeling a little bit lazy.